Hi guys, I get questions about toy grade radio receivers, usually about how to reconnect wires to them. I've done a few videos on trying to repair them, replacing some of the transistors, that sort of thing. But a common question is physically, where do the wires go? Somebody's broken the wires off and they're trying to figure out how to put them back again. So as you can see, I've got a bit of a selection here. What I'll do is I'll try and find one that's easy, and then we'll have a look at some of the others. Right, okay, let's see if we can get focus. Right, down here, FB, forwards, backwards. So that's for the motor that does the drive. Over here, we've got V plus, V minus, that's the power going in. So that's your battery. Voltage plus, voltage minus. So have we got another, no, obviously just where my thumb is this on-off switch. We should have LR somewhere for left and right. Oh, there we are. LR, so that's your steering motor, left, right. So that would be the solder tags directly underneath. And there's still one wire on there. So that was an easy one. Forwards, backwards, left, right, and V plus and V minus. Chuck that in the box. How about this one? Oh, come on, focus. Yeah. Right, this one doesn't look so helpful. Don't see anything on there that's going to help you. So we'll put that to one side. Technically you could trace it out by tracing the pins off the control chip here. Without looking at a diagram, I can't remember, but generally it's something like left, right and forwards, backwards on some of the pins down here. You can very easily download a schematic or a data sheet online if you look for a RX2 or TX2. Well, they usually come in a pair. RX2 and TX2 is the, say that again, RX is the receiver, TX is the transmitter. So you can possibly just see this is a RX2C something or other. Yeah, that's better. RX2C. The RX2 is the standard chip, and then the variations, you get A, B, C, D, etc. So that's the controller chip, and as I say, you could trace from the pin outs and follow it through to where the actual motor would go. I'm just trying to see there which ones look like they've been fairly freshly desoldered. These down here look like they've been soldered. I can see VDD there and VSS. Oh, there's M2, M3, I can see them now. M4, so I expect there's M1 at the top somewhere. There's M1, right, well we've cracked that then, so that's M1 and M2 will be motor 1, or either the drive motor or the steering motor. You'll find out when you plug it in and try your controller. And then M3 and M4 will be the other motor, because obviously they're in a pair, 2 wires for each motor. So M1, M2, M3, M4, and in between that VSS and VDD. And I can't remember which way round, which be positive and negative. So that doesn't help you at this moment. I would make a basic statement like usually the negative is the one that goes all the way around the outside, but I can't be definite about that. So I'm not going to say that, because it might not be. You won't normally be looking at it like this with all the wires taken off. Usually you'll have some clues. Most of the wires will still be on there from the car. It's just where one of them's come loose. Right, I'll put that to one side for now. Right, what does this one look like? Don't know what this comes from. This might be an infrared module. I don't know. No, that's not infrared because there's a trimming coil there. So that one, M1 minus, M1 plus. This is probably one of those ones that just goes forwards and backwards. Oh no, no, there's a M2 plus there, M2 minus. So yeah, it has two motors. And then you've got VDD and ground. So VDD there, ground there. So if we just go over the other side, that one would be the ground. If we go back to there, like I said, that one does go around the outside, but I wouldn't take that as a definite. And that one's actually got the print on the bottom as well, so you can see M2 there. And antenna, obviously that's another one that's handy to know. There's usually one of these inductors just before the antenna. So antenna is that one. VSS. Yeah, ground on that side is VSS on that side. Anyway, so M2 plus, M2 minus, M1 minus, M1 plus, ground and VDD and antenna. Okay. Next one. Focus again. We've got antenna up at the corner there. This one's fairly straightforward. Oh, they're spread apart a bit though. That's ML for left. MR for right, so that's that pin and that pin, then MF for forwards and MB for backwards. VCC and ground. See what it says on the other side. Oh, sorry, focus has gone. Come on. Focus, there we go. So VCC is positive and ground is negative. And as I say, they are labelled ML for left, MR for right. The wires go through where those little circles are. MF for forwards and MB for backwards. So that white bit of white wire is the one that's forwards, and that blue one is the backwards. Okay. Right, I'm going to sit down. I'm just going to move the camera a bit. Right, what have we got next? Right, this one, which obviously goes with this car because it's still connected, but I doubt whether it's the original one, knowing the way that I work. No, they don't appear to be labelled. And clearly that is the motor wires going down to the motor. Anything on the other side? Ah, I see. Yeah, this is definitely not the original receiver for this car. In fact, this one is a new bright receiver. And they have little jacks on them to plug your steering and your drive motor in. That's what those two white things are. So obviously I have soldered on the back so that I can connect the wires direct without using the sockets. And I think this receiver would have been straight onto the back of the battery board, and the tags from the battery board would have come up through here to make contact, which is why they're quite wide spaces. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that would have been the peg coming up from the battery board going through there for the positive, and down there for the negative. But I've modified this and soldered it in place. And then antenna is labelled. Okay, so that's one that I've modified for some reason. And this is another new bright. So again, this is one that would go onto the battery, back of the battery pack, and there'd be a tag coming up through there and up through there for the positive and negative. Yeah, that's where it's actually labelled ground, and then down there would have been the VCC. There we go. And then I've removed those white sockets that were there. One there. Where was the other one? Just there, where it says JK2, Jack 2, and JK1 for Jack 1. So again, that would be the steering and the drive motor. But they're not labelled F and B for forwards and backwards, or L and R for left and right. Okay. I don't know if you can see the number on that chip. You might be able to, I can't see it in the camera. But it's probably an RX2. Oh. Yeah, don't know. Right, next. Ah, now that looks like a horrible little one. looks like that could be a battery lead, doesn't it? Don't know what that comes from. Completely different chip number on it. 8A9788P. No idea what that comes from. And those wires just sort of appear in the middle somewhere. We might skip over this one because I don't see anything easy on there telling us what's what. Again, you might be down to trying to get the data sheet for the chip and work out which are the pins. Okay, well that's a good one. Nothing clearly labelled on there to help you. Put that to one side. Right, well, this looks like one that I've played with. Easy to look at though. F for forwards, B for backwards, R for right, L for left, ground, FL, BL, wonder what those are. Lights. Forward, backward light, perhaps. Yeah, I bet that had lights on it. Antenna over there. VCC and ground. Ah, oh yeah. F and B there. Yeah, I should think that FL and BL is lights. So I would think that comes off a car that's got lights on it. Again, I can't see clearly enough if that chip's got a number on it. I don't think for 1 minute that's going to work for you. No, that ain't going to work for you. I'll have a look. It's a TXM 8D421 ZYX 1442A, which is of no use to you whatsoever, but that just emphasises it's not an RX2. But I bet the pinouts are the same. Next. Right. Okay, we're looking from this side. We've got ground and antenna. Oh, they are labelled. L, V minus, F, V plus. There's a B on there, can you see it? So B for backwards, F for forwards, L for left, and I would guess somewhere there, yeah, there's an R for right. R for right, L for left, V minus, F for forwards, V plus, B for backwards, ground at the top there, ground, no, you can't see that, ground is also V minus. And again, like I said earlier, that does go round the outside edge, but not all the way round. There's a break there. And those wires there, the black ones, go to the LED, minus and plus. And again, on this side, it's nice and clearly marked. Forwards, backwards, V plus, V minus, left, right. 49 megahertz, this one. I'm not going to pull that off, but under there you would be able to see what the chip was. I was talking to somebody about 49 megahertz recently. You don't see them very often, or I don't see them very often. They're usually 27 or 40, the ones that I see. Right, next, how about this one? Well, the bits we can see easily. VDD and VSS. Yeah, you don't want to get too confused with things like L1 and R1, because L in electronics is inductor. That's what that one is. So that's inductor number 1 and resistor number 1 and capacitor number 4. So don't get confused by the other letters that you see. Not seeing anything useful on there though. Well, that does look like that's probably the drive motor. This is probably a single channel one. But I don't see anything that identifies those pins. So that's not an easy one to work out. Just to make it even more confusing, there's no RX2 chip on there. It's that cob, as they're called, circuit on board, that black blob. I have to stand up again. Back's aching, all this leaning over. Don't change focus. So right, that's a good example of one that's not easy to follow. If the wires have fallen off completely, your chances of identifying them again are slim. What you have to do is look to see if there's any little bits of wire left sticking out from where it's broken off. Okay, not a good one, that. What on earth's that? That's nothing to do with radio control. That looks like the controller for a CD player or something like that. Or even a radio. Oh, that's probably a radio, isn't it? Because it's got a antenna there. Buttons there. Yeah, nothing to do with radio control, that. Next one, that looks fairly straightforward. Antenna. That's what I was saying earlier, there's usually an inductor next to the antenna. Oh, focus. That thing there, L for inductor. The antenna on the other side. Oh, we have got ground and DC plus there. That'll be a difficult one to work out, won't it? Yeah, it's got to be those two. It is labelled F minus B plus, so that's forwards and backwards. Yeah, that's a little confusing then. Ground and DC plus. DC minus has nothing going to it at all. There's no circuit on the back of it. No solder on the back of it, so that's not been used. But this is just a straight, come on, focus. This is just forwards and backwards, this one, single channel. That's the insides of a mouse, so that's irrelevant. No idea what on earth is that about. That's not a mouse. Gosh, I thought that was a mouse, but that can't be. Not with that sticking through. What's that sticking through there? That's nothing to do with it. It's a bit of copper pipe. Oh, alright, put that somewhere else. That is a mouse. So that's your LED, that's your receiver, that's your scroll, button, button, yeah, a couple more LEDs. Don't know why that was in the box, other than I put a lot of stuff in the box just to clear some space. What's that one? Right, that one got a button on it. Why has it got a button on it? Don't even know what that is. Got a speaker on it. On off switch. Don't know what that is. Looks like it's got wires for motors. Oh well, it's got the same details on it though. Moto LR for left right and M1F, whatever that might be. That's clearly left and right. Okay. Don't know. I reckon that's ground, forward motor, backward motor, and battery plus. So battery plus and ground are the red and black, and forward motor, backward motor, white, blue. 27 megahertz. It's an odd one. Right, okay, what we got here? We've got something still attached. One of my projects, no doubt. I reckon this was in a boat. Unless it's in a plastic bag to keep it dry. see on the back. Okay, over on the right here I can see M1 minus, M1 plus. Up here, M1 minus, M1 plus. Antenna, battery minus, battery plus, M2 plus, M2 minus. And it's an RX2C chip. And antenna. And that's clearly labelled on this side anyway. M2 minus, M2 plus, battery plus and minus, and up there M1 minus, M1 plus. And that one's still got motor attached. Getting through them. What's that one? Well, easy enough to see. We've got FB over here on the left, forwards, backwards, and LR, the white and the green one. And then V plus is going to the power switch. And V minus is down in the bottom corner there. Okay, and there's our inductor, L2 in this case, and L3 and the antenna. Can't see if that chip's got anything written on it or not. Not that it matters. Oh, I can see it with my jeweler's loop, and it is an RX2. You probably won't see that. Right, that can go in the box. Try and work from the top of the pile down. Now this is the one that I actually had the question on about how do you identify the colours of the wires, which is unfortunate because this is the video I was doing this in is where I've actually had to replace the H bridge, which I'd burnt out on the chip, on the circuit. So I was replacing it with an external H bridge. So I was actually tracking the pins out. Oh, we're out of focus. Tracking the pins out from the chip, intercepting them. Onto these blue and white wires to go down to an external H bridge, which I could power with an external power supply, so we could have different voltage going out to the motor compared to the voltage that was running the receiver. So we really can't see where things would have been. How about on the other side? Oh yeah, over there we have got forwards, battery plus, backwards, right, left, and battery minus. So that's fairly easily recognisable, apart from the fact that I've made a right mess of it on the other side. This one looks like one of the other ones we've already looked at. And you can see I've actually ruined the track there. Yeah, this looks identical to the one we've just been talking about. Oh, no, not identical. F for forwards, B minus, B... Oh, it is the same, yeah. Forwards, B minus for the battery, B for backwards. Well, that was B plus. You couldn't even see that clearly because that's B minus on that side. and right and left. We've got an LED on this one. Antenna over here, L2, L1. Oh, I see. That's the trim pot, and it looks like it goes through that inductor, and then to that antenna. Okay. Right, okay. Don't know if we can see enough on here without actually taking it off the board. I think that is labelled, it's just a little bit difficult to see it. I'll just have a closer look. I think it is labelled, but there's so much over the top of it, it's not clear. I'll have a closer look. Yeah, you really can't see it clearly here, but that is labelled. There's my screwdriver. That is M2 there, and that is labelled in there M1, but it's not easy to see it. But yeah, M1, M2, and battery minus, battery plus. Yeah, another RX2 chip. Yeah, that is definitely labelled M1 minus plus and M2 minus plus, but you just cannot see it clearly. Okay, how about that one? Well, antenna. Ground. So that got a little M just under it there. Looks like M to me, and that looks like M. Yeah. So M and M, and right in the middle there somewhere must be the negative battery or the ground, where that black wire goes to. So it looks like that's just a single motor. But yeah, it's got M on it, I can see it quite clearly now. M just there. M and M. No, this one, I know what this one is. It's not radio controlled. That is actually a microphone there. This one's sound activated. Oh, and the wires just fell off. Oh, I'm not going to fuss with that. Not for now. That doesn't want to come off easily. That's well stuck in place. And you certainly get the impression with the red and black wires coming out of there where it says S4, I reckon that went away to the motor. Or is that the battery in and out? No, that could be the battery. Ah. It looks like I've hot glued that and stuck it. You know it just doesn't want to come off. I don't want to damage it. Yeah, it looks like I stuck it on good and proper. Because that looks suspiciously there, like a couple of solder tags. Oh, which lines up with that. But where's the power in? There's more tags over here. Yeah, not gonna work that one out quickly. Sorry, all out of focus. So that's not radio control. As I say, that's sound activated clap switch, which is clearly that on S1 there. "25 minutes we're in now." Okay. Can you see that? RX2. So most of them are RX2. Just see the yellow and blue or green, whatever they are. That's M1, minus and plus. And then those two look like go to M2, minus and plus. And we've got B for battery, minus and plus. That one's a 49 megahertz as well. It's got the blob over the 49. Oh, that'll be antenna up there somewhere. Yep, here's labelled antenna. Surely we've had enough of this. What on earth is that one? Oh, unfortunately I've glued something over the tags there so we can't see them clearly. You can see the one that says ground. Ground 12 volt, and then I would guess these two over here would be the motor outputs. I reckon this is a 24, oh yeah, 2.4 gig. Interesting. I wonder if this is the one that failed after I'd got it. Yeah, I reckon that probably says, that's probably Chinese for motor 1 and motor 2, or left, right and forwards, backwards. Yeah, I bet. I think we've done enough of these, to be honest. That's another 2.4. That one's clearly labelled. M minus M plus, M minus M plus, antenna over here, and battery minus, battery plus. So that one's easy enough to work out. And a nice big H bridge there. H bridge, I'm not going to explain it here, but look it up. That's how you get forwards, backwards. It reverses the polarity going to the motor. Right, that one, I think I've only just taken this out of the car recently. And this has all got sockets to plug everything in. So, nothing labelled on the back. Yeah, so you're not going to find that one easily unless you've got the original plugs. RX2 chip though, RX2B. Little one there, nicely labelled down the side. Well, it doesn't actually tell you what those are. That looks like one that's got sound effects with it. Got a couple of buttons for something or other. What on earth is that? I wonder if, well no, don't know about that one. I'll have to look it up. So we'll ignore that for now. That might be nothing to do with radio control. Yeah, don't know what that is. Yeah, forget that. That one. That's got M3 there and M4. VCC. Ground is directly connected to the battery terminal. Oh, I was just going to say I couldn't see M1 and M2, but then just there. M1, M2, M3, M4. And you can see that's an RX2 chip as well. Nearly there. Come on. Focus. Antenna. I think that's B minus and B plus. M2 minus M2 plus, and that'll be M1 minus M1 plus. Okay, that looks fairly straightforward. RX2D, I think that one. What on earth's that? Well, we can see down the bottom. Certainly the yellow's got M2 on it. Up there we got M1. Come on. So M1, and they're not telling you which is the forwards and backwards or left and right or positive and negative. And M2 there. So that's your two motors, and then that's your battery and earth. Just did the maximum file size on the phone, so I've had to restart. Don't think we missed anything though. Antenna, motor 2, motor 1, and then battery and earth. I think we've done enough, to be honest. But for completeness, we'll get rid of these last couple. I can see M2 minus there. I see M1 minus there. M1 plus. Can't see M2 plus. Oh, there it is. You've got to turn the board the right way to be able to see it. There's M2, so M2 there. Focus. Yeah, so M2's down in there. M2 minus, M2 plus, M1 minus. And where did we see? In there. M1 plus. Well hidden. And then we've got some LEDs on this one for some reason. This one. Got antenna at the top corner there. RX2B chip. Right. They are in there. M1 plus, M1 minus. Tell you what, I'm bending over the camera here. It's really making my back ache. There's M2 M2 plus, M2 minus. So that's our motor connections. Antenna up there. This has got all sorts of things, hasn't it? Speaker, bulb. All sorts. Oh, that's just a battery box. What have we got there? Another one. I'm not even going to open that. What is that? I can just make out. That looks like M. Yeah. Have to clean off the, it's got hot glue all the way over it. Have to clean it off to be able to see what's written underneath. Yeah, I'm not going to take that one out. I think you've got the general idea. They're either labelled M for motor or F and B. Oh gosh, what are these? That's another new bright one in there. No, I think we've done enough. I've gone over about 30 minutes now, haven't I? That one there is not radio controlled. That's a little not sound operated. Press the buttons and it makes sounds and it drives the motor forwards and backwards. One of those ones that makes car noises, brum brum. So it's not radio controlled at all. Yeah, that'll do. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope that's helped. Very long, very rambling, but we've covered how to look for the tags to connect your wires back. Thanks for watching. If you want more information, check down below in the video description. If you like this video, you might like this one up here. And if you want to subscribe, you can check out my channel over here. Up here is my latest video on my channel, and down here is a video playlist associated with the video you've just watched. Thanks again for watching.